Get debate. We're looking at the showdown in Egypt, the parliament meeting this Tuesday for 5 minutes. One of those who was there in the chamber, he's with us from his home constituency of Luxor, is Abdul Mawgud Dardari of the Muslim Brotherhood's Freedom and Justice Party. Also with us, Dalia Hassan of the January 25th Movement, Adel Guindi, president of Coptic Solidarity, and from the Reuters news agency, Tanguy Salah, author of L'Égypte de Tahir, Tahir's Egypt. Before the break, we were discussing the relationship between, on the one hand, the new president, and on the other hand, the old guard. At his swearing in, the one that he did before the Constitutional Court, Mohamed Morsi, paying tribute to Egypt's existing institutions.
Today, Egypt is a modern civil constitutional state. This country is being brought to life as a strong country.
So there you hear it, Abdel Mawgud Dardari, Mohamed Morsi saying that he supports and respects the institutions that are already in place in Egypt. Again, why in that case convening the parliament, even though the High Court said no?
No, the High Court, sir, did not say no. All what the High Court said is the law on which the election took place on 1/3 of the parliament is unconstitutional. This is all what the law said, what the court said. So what happened? The military council took it upon its hand and dissolved the parliament. That was a wrong decision from SCAF, from the military council. What President Morsi did is he fixed that problem and provided more of a democratic mechanism. So your earlier question concerning whether there will be confrontation or cooperation, I look at it as a cooperation between the newly elected president, the political forces, and the military council. With keeping in mind that that cooperation really need to, at the end of the road, to get the military out of politics and have the military focus on protecting the borders of like the military, what does militaries do all over the world and most of the democratically oriented countries. If we succeed this in Egypt, I think we're setting a very good example to other countries in the Arab world and in the Muslim world, that democracy is the way to go, that civil society and civic state is a necessity in the Muslim world. And I'm very much confident that this is going to happen through President Morsi and through the other political forces in the country.
Adel Guindi.
No, I think he's partially taking parts of the ruling of the Constitutional Court. The Constitutional Court was extremely clear and said, as of the date of the publication of the resolution, the Parliament is dissolved. Point. And all what the military council did after that was to implement it in obedience to the High Court. So any, turning around of discussions like that is pointless and is useless. This is an illegal parliament going on today. Its actions, as of today, are illegal. There are other things in their mind, probably. I mean, they have some schemes to prepare for the future, dissolve the Supreme Constitutional Court, do all kinds of things. We are part of, entering a very dangerous, slippery road as of now.
Dalia Hassan, is it an illegal parliament?
Even if I don't have the judicial knowledge, about this point, but I don't think that anybody can take such a defying action without an arrangement with a military council. So I think that he said collaboration and cooperation, and I think that this is exactly what's going on.
All right. In his remarks in Cairo this Tuesday, the German foreign minister appeared to pay tribute to Morsi's subtle blend of, defiance and cooperation is how we'll put it. Listen very carefully to Guido Westervelle's message. Otherwise, it might seem a little confusing.
Der Präsident hat mir noch einmal versichert, dass nicht
The
die
President has reassured me once again
des
that he does not question the decision by the Constitutional Court about a dissolution, but that he is concerned about the implementation of this decision. In other words, within which framework a new parliament can be quickly elected.
Again, Tanguy Salin, there's a lot of semantics in that answer.
Yeah, because actually, I think the main problem for the Western countries is that there are no institutions in Egypt, and it has been lasting for the last 16, 17 months. Of course, there is the military. There is this parliament which never had real powers. There is a president which is brand new, and we don't know exactly what powers it will have. There is no constitution. We are talking about the rule of law, the rule of constitution. What kind of constitution are we talking about? What kind of law? All this has been destroyed since February 2011. The rules are changing every day, and what is true today is not true tomorrow. So basically, all the Western countries are following this, trying to, handle...
To juggle.
Yeah, because, well, we are supporting democracy, or we are supposed to do so. So we are trying to defend what would be a democratic process, but we don't know exactly who is really supporting it, where it is heading to. So this is the problem of all the ministers, of all the embassies. They don't know how to deal with all this, this political mess, because this is a mess and nothing else.
All right, and playing a cautious hand, not just the Germans. On Monday, the White House announcing that Barack Obama will meet Morsi on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York in September. His Secretary of State, who travels this very weekend to Egypt, also tried to play an understated hand when speaking to reporters earlier in the day on a trip to Vietnam.
The United States has been a partner with Egypt for a long time. We want to continue to work with them to promote regional stability, to prevent conflict, to try to protect our mutual interests in the region. The relationship is important to us. It's also important to Egypt's neighbors.
Adel Gwindi, can you translate from diplomatic ease what Hillary Clinton just said?
It's saying that we are basically the real brotherhood today is between the Obama administration and the Muslim Brotherhood. This is, this is a discovery of the last few days, a few weeks, if you like. It is so flagrant that it's not all of a sudden.
You see that as an endorsement of the Muslim Brotherhood?
Absolutely. I mean, there are subtle
expressions. Abdel Mawgoud Dardari.
Yes, there is a lot of pessimism in the studio. I don't share it at all. I am very much optimistic about the great Egyptian people and how they elected first ever democratically elected parliament. I mean, we should really salute the Egyptian people for the more than 30 million, more than 60% of the people
but most of the
went
electors
out
did it
and
by...
vote. Let me just finish. Let me please finish. As I listen to you, please listen to me. So this pessimism, really, I don't share at all. I am very much optimistic. I think Egypt is moving towards democracy. First ever in 7,000, we have a president of our own. We never elected a president before. The people of Egypt elected President Morsi. And we're really insisting, we're very confident on the democratic process. And that's why the rest of the world is encouraging this democratic process to move forward. What President Morsi did just recently is really supporting the will of the Egyptian people, because we need stability in Egypt. I am in Luxor. We don't have tourists in Luxor. We would like to invite the French tourists, the European tourists, the American tourists to come and visit us. We have 1/3 of world monuments in Luxor. And this will come through stability, a stable government that is likely to come very soon, a stable parliament, a freely elected president, and then the cycle of democracy keeps going until we produce a democracy that is the first of its kind in the Arab world, and I think the second after the Turkish in the Muslim world.
Dalia Hassan?
I am very optimistic.
So you share the optimism?
Thank you.
Yes, but not in the same direction, because I think that it's a terrible mistake and it's even false and it's like a lie to say that Mohamed Morsi was elected by 30 million people. We have also to remind people that he was a choice by default because people wanted to counter Shafiq. So let's just not play now that Mr. Mohammed Morsi is a revolutionary figure and that this revolution was a fruit of the work of the Muslim Brotherhood.
But then again, that's part of the democratic process.
no,
in any
of course,
country that in the
Yeah, I
first
was
round you
talking
choose a
about the
candidate, and in
parliament,
the
not
second
the
round you
president.
eliminate.
Yes, of course. So now I think stability it's when people who have been arrested illegally are back to their homes. Stability is when we have promises that could really be realized. And right now, I think that the screenplay now, it's just the outing, the safe outing of the SCAF from the theater, and this is what has been arranged with a president.
Tanguy Salah, Mohamed Morsi on Wednesday, his first trip abroad, he's going to Saudi Arabia. What message does that send?
Well, it is sending a message that probably Saudi Arabia will be an important partner for the future of Egypt. We know that Saudi Arabia has already proposed to lend or to maybe to give a few $1 billion to Egypt to help Egypt, which we all forget this, but is going through a big economic depression, and it will be a huge task for any president to put Egypt back on track. So this is certainly an issue, and particularly for the Muslim Brotherhood, which has built its popularity by helping the poor. If they don't help the poor anymore because they will not have the budget for that, it will be a big problem for them. So for sure, Saudi Arabia is an important partner politically in the Middle East and economically. I would like to add, talking about the West, that this is also an issue for the West, and I think that this is one of the concerns of Hillary Clinton. Actually, there are two concerns. First, an economic one, because there are investments, big Western investments that are at stake, and of course, strategic one, the peace with Israel and the Suez Canal. So that's why I would not call it a brotherhood between America and the Muslim Brotherhood, but I would say that the states are trying to, at least not to create more problems for them in the future if the Muslim Brotherhood were to hold the power for real, not like now.
You mentioned the economic challenge, the biggest challenge, making the economy grow, a lot of business at a standstill. You heard Abdul Magoud Dardari mentioned the tourism in his home district of Luxor. Revenue from tourism down by 1/3 since the start of the revolution. And when you look at those numbers and the projections for growth for this year, 1.5%, this in a nation with high demographics. In other words, it's equivalent to zero growth when you look at the...
It's negative, in fact.
It's negative, in fact, when you weigh it up against the rise in the population. Adel Gwindi, there's an urgency, is there not, to have some form of stability so investment doesn't...
In that sense, stability is good. That's for sure. But what is worrying is what is going to be the outcome of the so-called... It can be a pseudo-stability, and to blackmail the society which is looking for stability at any price, at any rate, by imposing certain directions, permanent things, putting the constitution. Remember that if the constitution is written today by the Brotherhood and its allies, is going to be a disaster for Egypt for the next 30, 40 years. This is not something that you can change overnight. There are at least rumors or information about certain number of laws that are being contemplated by that revived parliament to be passed, and that could set dramatic changes in Egypt. To undo them and unravel them in the future will be a major upheaval. So, stability is a nice thing, but not for the sake of stability that we ignore all the fundamental issues that have been accumulating over the past 16 or to 18 months, and they are exploiting that situation today to lead us into, to a dark tunnel that nobody knows how to get out of.
And we're just getting news in from the Reuters news agency. Egypt's Supreme Constitutional Court has ruled to halt the president's decision to recall Parliament. Abdul Magoud Dardari, what's your reaction? Are you going to try to convene again?
Say that again. Is this something new that came out right now?
Just this minute from the Reuters news agency saying that the Constitutional Court has ruled to halt the president's decision to recall Parliament, that according to a judge.
That would be very much questioned by so many legal experts. We'll have to look at it from a legal perspective. We have to, we're a country of law, we respect the law, so we will have to look at it.
If you respect the law, then you should respect the ruling of the Constitutional Court.
Let me just finish. I hear some of your guests are claiming optimism, but all what I hear is pessimism. There is one thing that I would like to remind them, that Egypt is a democracy, and we are the elected members of the Egyptian parliament. We'll do what the Egyptians want. If they like us, they elect us again.
So you will disobey the constitutional. You will disobey the Constitutional Court's ruling.
No, not at all. And I said clearly, sir, you don't want to understand what I'm telling you. We did not defy the Constitutional Court ruling. All what we did was provided a more democratic mechanism so that it serves the interest of the people. And that is what Dr. Morsi did. That's what the Egyptian parliamentarians wanted. And that's why we convened today.
So do you see a situation where you're going to be passing legislation that's then going to be struck down by the judiciary?
What we did today, we did a very interesting move today. All what we did, we took the Constitutional Court ruling and send it to the court that is the administrative court that is supposed to handle the validity of the membership. And this is all what we did today. We sent that ruling. In fact, that ruling, a Constitutional Court ruling, was supposed to go to the administrative court to look into it, how to implement it. What we did today in the parliament, we decided to take it back to the administrative court so that it can look into it and do it legally. We have to do it by the law. We respect the law, and it has to go. It is democracy. Any democracy has to
breaking the law in terms of the name of democracy is not the best way to talk about democracy and respecting the law. You know.
All right. What is for sure?
When you think of something that does not, when you think of something that does not make it real, there are different perspectives, and I respect that. I respect your opinion, but it does not make it right.
And we respect all perspectives here in the France 24 debate. Unfortunately, we're out of time. As you can see, the dust has far from settled here on this issue of what's going on, but we'll be discussing Egypt again soon. Dalia Hassan, I want to thank you. Tanguy Salah, Adel Gundi, and Abdul Maogoud Dardari for joining us from his home constituency of Luxor. And thank you for being with us here in the France 24 debate. Stay with us. Coming up next, Matthew Warren has all the day's business news.
Audiovisuel Extérieur de la France is now the world's leading French media group. Every day, France 24, Monte Carlo Doualiya and RFI combine their efforts and expertise to bring you all the news. In just 1 year, France 24's weekly audience has increased by 50%. Meanwhile, RFI has seen its listening figures jump from 37 to 40 million. And during the same period, the number of Monte Carlo Doualiya listeners has gone from 5 to 8 million. In 2011, we had 94 million listeners and viewers. Thank you. Every week, France 24 brings you all the latest news from the world of sailing and water sports. Follow the action from the major international sailing events. Catch up with the latest technological advances from the boat shows. Join us. Become part of the crew. Connect with the world of sea lovers and water sports enthusiasts. Follow the Call of the Sea with Whirlwinds, Saturday, 12:40 p.m. Paris time on France 24.